What I'm about to reveal is simply unbelievable, and you're only hearing it here, on our channel. Listen, we've reached that point in the season where a single piece of information, a single detail, can change everything. And today, my friend, I gained access to something that many people within the franchise itself did not want to leak. Something that hasn't appeared in news reports, hasn't surfaced in insider information, and hasn't even been revealed behind the scenes in the NFL. And let me tell you something. If you truly love the Bolts, if blue and gold blood runs in your veins, you need to pay attention every second from now on. Because what's been happening within the Los Angeles Chargers in recent days is serious. It's decisive, and it could directly impact the future of Justin Herbert, Jim Harbaugh, and even the construction of the roster for 2025. I truly hope you're already subscribed to this channel because we're the only place where absolutely nothing about the Chargers goes unnoticed. Here we bring you what nobody dares to talk about, with details that nobody else can provide. The atmosphere within the Chargers heated up during the bye week, and we're not talking about practices, but about tension, profound changes, and destinies that could completely alter the season, and even the future of some players. The atmosphere began to weigh heavily when Becton, the most expensive signing of the last offseason on the Chargers' offensive line, made it clear that he is not at all satisfied with the team. And it's not just a quick frustration, it's something that has been growing week after week. Becton fought against injuries, against at least one illness throughout the season, and even so, he tried to stay on the field to protect Justin Herbert within Jim Harbaugh's offensive scheme. But everything fell apart in Week 11, in the loss against the Jaguars. During the game, Becton was visibly limping. Even so, he wanted to continue. But Harbaugh and his staff did the opposite of what the player expected. They removed Becton from the starting lineup. And this, without explanation, at least not to him. ESPN's Chris Rim spoke with Becton, and the player vented, "I just want to stay healthy and finish every game if they let me." From there, the tone became even heavier. Becton said he had never been removed from a game like that without warning, and he added, "Things are different around here. Very frustrating for me." In other words, there is a clear rift between the player and the coaching staff, and it got worse when he was asked who decides these substitutions. "That's a matter for the higher-ups. Ask them. It's something they decide. I don't know." Now, looking from the outside, it's easy to understand the Chargers' side. Becton arrived with a complicated history. 11th pick in the 2020 draft. History of injuries, risk of a bust before gaining a new lease on life as a guard in Philadelphia, a termination clause in his contract allowing for a break as early as the next offseason. And as soon as he arrived in Los Angeles, he missed weeks of training camp with a knee injury. He's already missed 2 games this year due to concussion and knee problems, and he's been sidelined several times due to physical issues. For the team, it's precaution. For Becton, it's distrust. This tension isn't isolated. It's directly connected to the changes Harbaugh has made and is about to make on the offensive line. And this leads us to the next point. With the bye week drawing to a close and the decisive game against the Raiders knocking on the door, Jim Harbaugh finally heeded an old, insistent, and practically unanimous request from Chargers fans. After much external pressure, repeated failures in protecting Justin Herbert, and a succession of improvisations that didn't work, the coach announced what most fans had been expecting for months. Jeremy Salyer will be the Los Angeles Chargers' new starting left tackle in Week 13. The confirmation came even before the final preparations for the game, and although many were surprised by the speed of the change, no one was really shocked. After all, this move had been requested by fans, analysts, and even some former players for a long time. In 2022, when he was still a rookie chosen only in the 6th round, Salyer was forced to take over the left tackle position mid-season after an injury that destabilized the offensive line. And it was precisely in this unexpected opportunity that he shone impressively. He started 14 games, scoring 69.2 on PFF and an excellent 75.9 in pass protection. For a rookie who didn't even have time to train specifically for that position, it was one of the most solid performances among young players that year. Not bad for someone many analysts considered just a project. But Salyer doesn't live in the past, and he made sure to make that clear. According to him, that performance doesn't mean the transition will be easy now. "I was just a rookie. I had time to prepare to play LT that year," he said, recalling that much has changed since then, both physically and in his playing style. And it is precisely this change that introduces a delicate point. Today, Salyer is no longer the same player he was 3 seasons ago. He has evolved in many aspects, gaining strength, experience, and tactical understanding, but he has lost some of the mobility that previously helped him adapt quickly to the explosive pass rush of elite defenders. Furthermore, Salyer was never considered an ideal left tackle tackle for the running game, a characteristic that has always weighed against him in the team's decisions. However, at this moment, the Chargers have no choice. Omarion Hampton remains out. Herbert has been suffering very hard hits week after week. And Trevor Penning, acquired in a trade with the hope of becoming a starter, has performed so far below expectations that he has practically ended his chances of assuming the role. The Chargers' bye week was marked by a mixture of silence, apprehension, and much agony for a large part of the fan base, who were still trying to digest the loss to the Jacksonville Jaguars. Week 11 was a long, tough week, one of those that seemed to never end, as fans searched for answers about the team's future and tried to understand how such a talented team could still falter so much in crucial moments. But then, amidst this collective atmosphere, something totally unexpected happened and changed the mood in Los Angeles almost immediately. The Kansas City Chiefs, the team that seemed unshakable, were defeated by the Dallas Cowboys 31-28. And, although many thought this had no direct bearing on the Chargers' fate, the truth is that this Chiefs defeat deeply affects the AFC playoff race. According to the Athletics statistical simulator, if the Chiefs had won that game, the Chargers' chances of reaching the playoffs would have been a modest 57%. However, with the surprising defeat of their rivals, that number rose to 62%, showing how a single result in another game can completely alter the conference landscape. At first glance, it may seem like just a small increase, but within the AFC, where every victory is worth its weight in gold and every detail can determine the outcome. Whoever comes in or who stays behind, this change represents a significant boost, even more so considering the complicated scenario the Chargers face. A heavy schedule ahead, an unstable offensive line, and a quarterback who has been carrying the team even while taking more hits than he should. Today, with a 7-4 record and occupying 5th place in the AFC, the Chargers are technically well-positioned, but the conference is in absolute chaos. Chiefs, Texans, Bills, Jaguars, and Ravens are all bunched together in the fight for wildcard spots, creating a competitive funnel where any stumble can be costly. The positive side for fans is clear. If the Chargers beat the Raiders in Week 13, their playoff chances take another important leap, rising from 62% to 67%. But then comes the worrying part. If Justin Herbert continues to take hits like he has in recent weeks, no number will matter. His survival on the field depends directly on the offensive line, which has been at the center of all recent discussions since the frustration of Becton. From the promotion of Jamari Salyer to the discarding of Trevor Penning, all of this is a consequence of a department that collapsed and now needs to be quickly rebuilt to keep the team's chances alive. The internal pressure is immense. The external distrust is too. And the game against the Raiders could be either the start of a run towards the playoffs or the first step towards an impending implosion. If you want to keep up with all of this closely, every behind-the-scenes event, every change, and every impact in this crazy race for the playoffs, leave a like, because it really helps the channel grow. And get ready, because the next few days promise to be the most intense and exciting of the year for those who truly support the Chargers.